Okay, guys, here's the watch list video for Friday, June 11th. It's been a great June so far. Today was a little bit hairy. There's the SPY, so it kind of had a little bit wider range maybe than the last few days. And there's the intraday. So we had the gap up, complete rollover, and then a bounce. So it was a little crazy, but what really was crazy today was this ORPH, which this looks like, hey, that's an errant tick or a misprint, right? No, it actually went to $77.77, and I believe it started at 497. Now look what happens when we go to intraday. All right. I mean, it slowly starts to gain momentum and people start finding it, but it trades for like 2 minutes at a time and halts, right? It just, every time it opened, it halted. And just made it completely untradeable. Just think about this. Somebody bought it up here in the 70s and then maybe average down here and then it opens down here. So it was crazy action. But what happened when this was doing this, and I never even thought about trading it was just untradeable. But what happens is this thing's going crazy. So then people say, hey, let's find the other low float. I don't know, biotechs maybe. I don't even know if any. So, and what is this? 24 million in the float is what Finbiz says. Um, yeah, 20 volatility halts. So anyway, people started traders started jumping around from this one to this one to this one, and I don't really want to play a pullback play, and when you've just got groups of traders chasing what they think is going to be the next ORPH, and it just makes for kind of a terrible day as far as finding stuff because I'm a big pullback player. I love playing intraday pullbacks, as most of you know. But I wasn't really interested in doing that. I did call AMST, and I know some people took this with me, and that was as it was coming down here, I was sitting below 3. My idea was a whole number 3 flush, and look what happens. It went to 3, and let me switch to 2 so you can kind of get a better look at it. Right there is where it flushed 3, and then about 6 to 8 minutes later, it went to 330. That was the big trade in AMST, and that was it. So I mean, it worked, but it wasn't great. And again, another example of buying a pullback. But other things lined up that I thought it was good risk reward below 3 there, and it ended up paying. But and by the way, speaking of AMST, it's on our gap playlist for tomorrow because it went out in after hours at 466. So go figure. The intraday high was 443. It closes at 277, right? So a lot of people underwater, and then in after hours it works its way up to 467. So some crazy action, but that's on the gap playlist. Oh wait, I was going to talk about another highlight from today. Actually, MEDS is the only one that I kept notes on. MEDS nasty reversal, but I did call this one as a fives buy zone play when it was coming down here. I actually got filled, and I showed you guys the fill at 917. But I had a bigger order right below, looking for that 9 flush right near the 520, and I didn't get it. So that's why I was saying son of a muck bunny about in the chat room. But still had a fill at 917, and within I don't know 10 minutes, it was up to 1034, and that's a beautiful buy zone bounce play. So that worked. But overall, again, it was just a weird day, and I kind of hated it. Had my worst day in June, and still nicely green. So it's been a great June, but it was my lowest profit yet in June was today. And as always, I'm in cash for the overnight, right? So anyway, what are we watching for tomorrow? ANY, big volume, fairly strong close. We're going to see if it gives any kind of follow-through day. AXLA, kind of the same thing. And by the way, some of these, I haven't done the research, some of these may have just been pure sympathies to that, I can't ever remember that symbol, the ORPH. So, and I don't know if they are or they're not, but they still have big, high relative volume for their, for those symbols. And so even if they are sympathies, I'm still going to watch them. Now, HTBX, I believe, had news of its own. Nice volume and a pretty strong close. I'm going to look for a follow-through day on that one. GBS. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So you had this pop, pull back, and then kind of a rip today. And if you look at 5-minute candles, most of that happened, like, I don't know if it had news, but it had a big rip there. So pretty strong. Definitely worth watching. I keep thinking this is the one that is looking at blood sugar testing through saliva. And I could be wrong. This could be This could be a metal stock for all I know, but that just pops in my brain. Anyway, a lot of symbols dancing around in my head every night, so keep that in mind. YRD, I had a couple nice trades in this one. I didn't put them on the highlight page, but called this right here. A whole number flush. It looked just like this. I said I love this below 5, near the 520, and I got filled there on, I had 3 orders, 2 of them filled. Had a really nice trade. Got a bunch of thank yous. It ended up going to 6, I guess. But ended up closing kind of strong, so we're going to watch it again tomorrow. But that was a nice trade. Big volume, strong day. We're going to see if it gives any kind of setup tomorrow. CLOV, crazy chart, right? Had this crazy move from, I don't know, $8 to over 28, and then 2 nasty days down. So this could give one of our famous bounce play setups tomorrow for a day trade, right? Keep that in mind, for a day trade, and only if we get the setup. IHT, big breakout, 2 days lower, back down to the 8 day. That one goes on bounce watch. Kodak, KODK. Zoom in a little bit here. So you had this big pop 3 sessions ago. You got 2 days lower. It's almost round tripped, but if you look a few days before that, it was down at 7. So 914 is still only a partial retracement of the week long run. So it's definitely worth watching for a bounce play tomorrow. You see a theme here, another bounce play. ASTS, big pop, couple days lower on declining volume. LEDS, continuing the theme, big move, 3 or 4 days down to the 8 day on declining volume. We're going to watch that one. RMED, this one's a little sloppier, but still had a big move, and it's down a few days. And interesting, topped out, well, actually, I was going to say topped out at 7 today, but it actually topped out at 704. So that whole number 7 may come into play tomorrow. Anyway, we'll see if that gives a setup. WISH, same thing, right? Big move, couple days lower on declining volume, and then a couple potential gappers. PGEN closed at 699, and after hours, this went out at 919. They had nice news after hours, so set to open. Well, we'll see. We'll see where it opens, but a potential gap play. And then I already told you about AMST, another potential gap play if it opens up, somewhere near today's high or higher. It's certainly worth watching again tomorrow. That's plenty to watch. I'm done bad, and we'll see everybody in the chat room on Friday morning.